everybody, I'm Natalia Bonner. Welcome back. All right, so you know that I am so obsessed lately with my Sway machine quilting rulers. I think the Sway 4 might be the most popular, but they're all pretty awesome. So today we're going to take things clear back to the basics, and I am going to talk to you a bit about the markings on the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler, and then I'm going to be showing you exactly how to use this hook end to mark, and then we'll use this circle end to quilt a perfect 4-inch circle. Let's get stitching. Let's use the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler to mark and quilt a perfect 4-inch circle. I like to start out using the blue Mark Be Gone marker and of course my Sway 4 machine quilting ruler. My quilt is loaded here onto my machine as I'm doing this marking. If you do want to see how I'm quilting all the rest of the quilt, make sure you check out the Piece and Quilt Academy on our website, pieceandquilt.com. I'm going to line up the straight side of the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler so that I can mark an X through the center of my block. Now I'm marking an X through the center of this block so that I have a reference point as to where I'm going to machine quilt this 4-inch circle. It just so happens to be that this quilt that I'm working on right now, I want to quilt a 4-inch circle around the outside of this square. It could have been, right here in the middle or any place where you want the center of your circle to be. The way that I have designed all of the Sway machine quilting rulers so that you can use the hook end of the ruler here for marking a perfect circle. The Sway 4 is used for marking and quilting a perfect 4-inch circle. And the same, the 5 for the 5 and the 3, a 3-inch circle. Now, the way that the ruler specifically is designed, once I have this X or my center reference point marked, I could use these markings here on the circular end of the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler. Here there's an X and also a T marked through the circular end of the machine quilting ruler. If you see here, you can see that I'm lining that X up right on top of the X that I had marked with the blue Mark Be Gone marker. Now I can rotate the ruler and line up those markings and still have that same result. Now, if I were to mark this, I am not marking a true 4-inch circle, so don't do that. You need to take into consideration that from your needle position here to the outside of the foot is 1/4 inch. Because of that, as I'm machine quilting around the outside, I need to add 1/4 inch all the way around so that I can have the line that I'm going to be quilting on. Now, if I already know this is what I want to quilt, I could start quilting right now. But if I want to make sure, mark it out, see before I start the quilting, which there's nothing wrong with doing that, then I'm going to use this hook end of the machine quilting ruler for my marking. Now there are a few markings here on this hook end. Let's talk about those. This here is a true 4-inch circle. This heavily marked line coming through here indicates 1/4 inch smaller. Now, the next line that we're going to see here is through the center. You're going to see that T. There's also an X that indicates through that center. These lines indicate the center of this 4-inch circle. So that is the reference lines that I'm going to be using most often when using the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler for marking. So I'm lining up this X that is marked through the hook end of the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler on top of those markings on the fabric. Now I'll use the blue Mark Be Gone marker and mark a curved line along there. Next thing I'm going to do is flip the ruler. By flipping the ruler, I can complete that circle, but I'm still lining up this straight line that indicates the center and also this straight line. Now I'll continue marking that circle. And I'll repeat this process. So you can see that I could line it up here and quilt that same, but a lot of times you'll notice that I'll just flip the ruler just because it is easy to flip. So let's turn it all the way this way so that I can mark a little bit more of my line. Make sure it's lined up nice and straight. And I'll continue that marking. Then one more time, let's flip that ruler. And I'll complete my circle. So now I can see what the 4-inch circle is going to look like. A couple other reference points. This circle side here, the concave side on the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler, is also used for machine quilting a 4-inch curve. There are a few straight lines indicated through here and some higher ones. These are designed more for marking spines of feathers and different, more complex designs. Today we're focusing on just the basics and stitching out a 4-inch circle. Let's line this Sway ruler right back up on top of that original X. Here you can see now that I have that 1/4 inch line marked, that's a 1/4 inch all the way around. So the 4-inch line, but then I've allowed the spacing by using this hook end to do my machine quilting. Now I'll use the circular end. I'm going to line it up on my X and let's quilt out that circle. So I'll line up the X that's here through the circular end of the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler right on top of that blue marked X. Then I'm going to apply very gentle pressure onto my ruler, but also against the side of my foot. I'll engage my machine and glide my foot around the outside of my ruler. So once I've stitched maybe a 1/4 of the way around, as far around as I can, I'll stop with my needle in the down position. I'll readjust my ruler. Again, going back to gentle pressure, I'll quilt around that circle. I am going to reposition one more time, always ensuring that my needle is in the down position. And now lining up those markings right back on top of my X. And you can see I actually did not line it up perfectly here. My quilting must have somehow shifted as I was working. That's fine with me. I may need to just slightly adjust a little bit as I'm going so that my circle will come together and look really nice. Now, of course here, because of the design I'm stitching it on, you can see that bottom edge actually does run into the edge of the next piece of fabric. Don't forget to enroll in the Peaceland Quilt Academy, where I will show you how I quilt the rest of this amazing quilt. I hope you found a bit of inspiration for machine quilting awesome circles with the Sway 4 machine quilting ruler.
Time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana.